All right. Welcome everyone to the March 2nd PAMA stakeholders meeting. We are continued to be virtual. Our topic for this morning is uniting people through art. This was a suggested topic from our meeting last month. And it relates, I think, to a couple different things. One would be, how can PAMA as an organization support art businesses on the South Side? And then the second part could be, or should be, how can we encourage additional public art throughout the South Side? So we have this morning two people from the All People Arts location on the south end of Parsons Avenue. And I'm going to let them introduce themselves, but it's Felicity, who's their program director, and Shelbi, they're on their board. And then just to Carla, as a reminder, Carla Fontaine from Nationwide Children's on that board. So we have had some dialogues to date around the Fruit Park, which is a close neighbor to All People's Arts, but we have other conversations. So I'm going to turn it over to Shelbi and Felicity. If you want to present anything, I'm going to stop sharing as well.
Hi, I'm Shelbi Toone. We don't have anything to present per se, but I am present today to talk about, how we can. I'm sorry, I have my son here, but I am present today to just make sure that you are introduced to Felicity. She's the new program director for All People Arts, and she has taken the schedule of All People Arts this year and added some really good collaborative opportunities for everyone to participate in and be involved in our workshops and different things. We also have a lot of things scheduled. I'll let Felicity talk about that for a second while I get him situated.
All right, so just picking up from that. So the way All People Arts kind of runs, we've got two different types of workshops. We've got in the arts and in the community. And where we've kind of talked about the fruit garden coming in is how we can engage it with the community. Maybe looking at, I know we've done gardening workshops in the past, and just kind of thinking about how the community can engage through arts. And also a part of that is looking at location. And let's say that this garden is something that we want to kind of foster as a partnership. We would love to see what kind of opportunities might be available to us. So we're really just here to listen and figure out what kind of options and see what people are interested in and engaging with us. And yeah, I don't know if Shelbi if you have anything else to say.
Also, we have the Waltnell Mural League as well. So when you talk about beautification opportunities around the city, we have some things that we could potentially work with PAMA on, as far as even just bringing art to business locations and different things like that, where we could potentially partner. So there's so much potential to work together, and we're just here to see if we can help, make some of that happen.
So I kind of think there's a couple different parts to this. And I'm not sure who wants to speak to which parts and what order you want to take them in, but I think one part is actually your gallery on Parsons, and some introduction around how that works, what the goals for the gallery are, how you communicate with the public, about the gallery, and how the gallery, kind of meets the All People Arts mission. So that's one thing I think that we would like to hear a little bit more about. And then the second part around the programming, and then the third part around the beautification on the South Side. So any preference for which one we start with?
Well, we'll start with the first one, is the gallery, and then I'll let you listen to the programs. Okay. So the gallery's been up for over a year now, and has, when we originally started, we had a co-op with Third Way Coffee. So we were maintaining gallery hours 3 days a week. And that went fairly well in the beginning, until we had some issues with our partnership with Third Way. And now we are just solely a full gallery. Third Way is no longer in the location. And so we've made strategic plans to hire Felicity, and we've also hired a gallery coordinator, Annie. And now we maintain, we're actually in the middle of creating some new spring hours. So once we do finalize those new spring hours, they of course will go on our door as well as our website. Our website actually keeps really good up-to-date information on what All People Arts is doing. So we just try to continue to make it accessible through the website to let you know what's going on, because again, we did open in the middle of the pandemic. So it's been an interesting thing to try to maneuver and connect and get resources out. But we've maintained a truly successful year as far as just participation and gallery show openings and things like that. So when it comes to the gallery, we do 4 shows a year. Each show is curated by a local artist or curator. There's usually a theme that allows multiple artists to be in the show. So our shows always feature, at least 5 or more to maybe even, 20 artists. There's always a big collective of artists to see. So our gallery right now, we have a gallery schedule, and I'll let Felicity speak to the schedule as far as what's coming up. But we're really excited just to continue to engage and also bring our outreach to the next level and our programming to the next level. We have a patio that's off of the gallery space that we use for outdoor programming, but we also see the potential all around us of where we could, partner and go. And right now we're even doing workshops that aren't in the space. We're going to other places and doing workshops, and we're always providing virtual connections as far as like Zooms and live ways to access us. And then we record everything. So we have a YouTube page so you can keep up with the things that we are doing.
And I'll kind of pick up from that and speak a little bit more about programming. So as I just mentioned, we've got 2 types of programs that we run. One is in the arts, and that's artists teaching artists. And then we've got in the community, and that's artists teaching community members, and that's more family oriented and open to the public. So kind of what our schedule is looking at like right now, we've got a show up, it's Creative Women of Color, and I believe that show is going to be up in the gallery until the end of April. And then at the beginning of May, we have a show opening, and the theme is pots and prints. So we're inviting printmakers and ceramicists from the South Side and Greater Columbus area to submit work. And a group of us are actually, this is the first show that we're not having a guest curator. We're working as a team to jury the show and look through submissions. So we're really looking forward to that one. And we've got our show, I believe our 4th show is going to be a group, our Outside the Lines. I don't personally know too much about the organization, but from what I've heard, it sounds like a great community over there. And I'm really excited to see the show. And then we always end the year with a show that's it's our last show of December was called Every Story Told, and it's basically it's a group show of community members, anyone is interested, and then we bring in a guest curator who's a local artist. So kind of looking at the programming for this year, my goal, and one of the things that I was kind of brought in to do was to start looking at outside of the gallery and how we can maybe utilize these art spaces in the community and create a unified community specifically on the South Side, but also we're kind of expanding to the Greater Columbus area. So we're really opening up some locations that we're trying to engage with that we've got upcoming workshops with. We've got a workshop with Columbus Printed Art Center, which is in the Fort, and that'll be our March workshop. I'm looking to get workshops at Phoenix Rising Printmaking Cooperative, the Cultural Arts Center, we're looking at, one of our main partners right now is Reeb Avenue Center. And so as Shelby mentioned with the Walt Neal Mural League, we're looking to go in there and kind of redo their walls and figure out how we can introduce art and art installations. So we're really kind of interested in like these outside partnerships that we can like start to build this, not start, but continue to build this identity on the South Side and the Columbus area. So yeah, that's kind of about programming. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But and Shelby, I don't know if you want to pick up from there.
I just want to encourage people to check out the website, allpeoplearts.org. There's a lot of hearty information on everything that we've done so far. And then we also keep it very updated so you can check out what's coming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's a lot there. So I think the first thing is when we send out the link to the recording, we'll definitely include the link to your website so that people can kind of see that, since that's probably best where you can find hours and shows and things of that nature. Is your YouTube channel then also, kind of prominent on your website, or do I need to look up a different link for that?
I know for sure that our YouTube is accessible very easily through Facebook. Off the top of my head, through the website, navigating the website, I know it's on there. I just couldn't tell you, but I know that if you click a video, for example, if you click a video, it takes you to YouTube, and then it introduces you to the entire page, right? So, not if there's a YouTube button, but it's accessible. And if you want, following the call, I can send you a more direct link.
Okay, I mean, that's just so that we can, make sure that we share, the information, right? So this is the homepage. So it's nice looking, obviously, website. So here's your current show that you were just mentioning through April.
Mm-hmm.
And then, all these other ideas, right? The pots and prints. I'm glad to hear that you do have a relationship with the fort. I was thinking about the same thing, right? Because I recall during the Parsons Avenue for All event last year that there was at least one artist at the fort that did have additional classes and for the community, and was looking for a way to kind of get that information out to the community. So
let me piggyback on that while you say that, because we do share other people's things, right? Like, we are a resource for information. So if you do get something, anyone can send information to info@allpeoplearts.org, and then it gets shared via Instagram or whatever, if it's a call for entry or art related. Also, we are always there. If you go on our website, we're always submitting, accepting applications for artists to run workshops. And a lot of times, to get the word out for a lot of folks is to run a workshop or to, bring their craft in front of other artists. And that's what the In the Arts opportunity is. It allows artists to lead their craft so that other artists can learn from them. So they're in it. We do give honorariums. We've paid over 100 artists so far. So our goal is to continue to our goal is to continue to provide stipends and artist opportunities. So if anyone's ever looking, please direct them to All People Arts, because we are a source for them to get opportunities to share what they do. If they're of course ready for that.
Okay, great. So I'm typing a little bit of this in the chat, mostly for my own self, because I will post the comments from the chat also in our YouTube. Sarah Lenke raised her hand. Sarah, did you want to ask a question? Or?
Yeah, hi. I was just thinking, I had a conversation recently with the folks at Parsons Place and Southeast Healthcare, and there might be a way to partner with them. I know that they're trying to find ways, it sounds like, to do more kind of programming to engage residents. So just wanted to mention that, and I can follow up to if you want to be connected, because they sounded really open to trying to, create links between different community resources, or hosting maybe a workshop in their center, or bringing people, it's just kind of across the street. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't know if you've spoken to them recently, but I think that they would be a great partner for your work.
So when you say Southeast Healthcare, are we talking about the gallery of Southeast Healthcare?
I'm talking about the tenants who live in Parsons Place, right behind John Maloney, in the new apartment complex.
Great. Thank you for the clarity. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. And I've been thinking also, right? I mean, obviously, some of our businesses on Parsons will, do have art in their spaces. Community Grounds, as an example, does have a small mercantile space on the north side of their facility that includes some art, including from Art Outside the Lines. And then I recall, like, Jimmy Lucas every once in a while will host kind of a showing in their space, and invite the public in to their restaurant and bar to meet the artists as well. So I mean, if we can start, all of us, collecting and engaging and introducing these different groups to each other, I suspect they aren't always aware. Carl, I see you raised your hand. Question or comments?
Yeah, if I could share my screen really quickly. Aaron is currently driving, but I have a pic of his building at Parsons and Gates with some public art on it, and would really like to share with the group if he has anything to say about it as well. So hold on, I apologize. Of course. I told you about my my ongoing issues. Okay, here we go. There.
All right, I see it. Oh, cool.
I think, are you there, Aaron, if you want to say anything?
Yeah, thanks, Carla. It actually just went up finally last night. It's been in the works for months, but weather wasn't cooperative. And it is in an alley, but it makes for a really nice looking alley now.
Excellent.
Can you repeat where this is? Where's this location?
This is at
Yeah.
Parsons.
It's the 10 units I have at the corner of Parsons and Gates.
Okay, cool.
And then we bought the warehouse next door and cleaned it up. We actually decided on putting it's called Fordite. It's high resolution photography of a paint booth, because that building was a paint shop originally for automotive. So it's high resolution photography of polished paint from a paint booth. So we just thought it was kind of fitting to stay with what the building was.
Nice. Could you send me a note, Aaron? Just, I can include that, what it is and where it is, kind of thing.
Yeah, and I will. And I was actually going to make a Facebook post on it, like explaining what Fordite stuff was and why we chose it.
Yeah, that would be cool. Thanks.
But it did make for a nice looking alley. Drive by.
Very pretty.
I was gonna say, this is really nice, and I even love how you put the spotlights over each one. So at night, it's gonna have this. People can't miss it, and I really like it. I'm not sure if you have any credit to the artist anywhere on that wall, but it looks so good, almost like a little gallery exhibition. I could see maybe putting a little just something to maybe tell the story of what it is and who the artist did it. But this is awesome, and these are the kind of projects that we love to hear about. So thanks for sharing.
Awesome. Thanks. Yeah, and I've wanted to do that. I was so excited to just finally get them installed, because they actually made them the wrong size and had to cut them all down on site. It turned into a nightmare. So I'm just happy to see them up and like safe on a wall.
Yeah, congratulations.
And then I think, Aaron, you mentioned your other development, which is going to be just northwest of the Kroger.
Yep.
facility that you will be adding some kind of public art there as well. I mean, that hasn't started yet, but that's the plan, right?
Yep, we made a commitment to a couple art panels on Phoebus Avenue at the pedestrian level.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. Let's, since we're talking about kind of street facing or sidewalk or alley facing art, maybe we can shift Shelby and Felicity to the, encouraging public art conversation and what you know that's going on or that you're involved in.
So, the public art movement is happening. It's happening. We are in the middle of it, everywhere, all over the city. And at All People Arts, of course, our mission is to provide art access to the South Side and beyond. So we have been engaged not only doing projects on the South Side, but also helping with different things around town. I know, like, when Franklin Park wanted to do an intentional collaborative with BIPOC artists, we kind of led that conversation in bringing a collective organization together to host a gallery show at Franklin Park. And with that, we were able to do some public art at Franklin Park through those partnerships. And we just continue to find opportunities like that around the city where we can do public art as a part of community engagement. Another project that is, we were kind of in the beginning of the Linda Murals of Empowerments conversation and things like that. There's a lot of different public art popping up through GCAC and Deliver Black Dreams and those kinds of initiatives. And we've been in those conversations from the beginning and actively involved from the beginning. So our goal is just to continue to be kind of like a catalyst of public art to help bridge those gaps. And also there's a lot of businesses and organizations that want public art. So just connecting artists to the opportunity is really what we've been in the business of. As far as other opportunities around the city that are going on, they're always posting on GCAC's website opportunities for artists in different collaboratives. But I know All People Arts, we've been mainly focused on Walt Neal Mural League because that's our way. I'm sure you all know who Walt Neal is, but that's our Southside pride. And we, use the league to spread that Southside pride around the city. And so we've now, been able to do a mural at Easton, a 60-foot tall mural at Easton in Walt Neal's name. And if you read that, you'll see that All People Arts artists did that. So we're just, trying to be messengers of why art is important in beautifying the city. So, and if you hear of any other opportunities, I may be forgetting some. I try not to, toot my horn about things, but it's everywhere. And if you have any questions about any opportunities, please let me know because I'm sure I either know about it or can figure out more information for you. So
I believe that there is a new mural going up on the Smith Tandy building at the northeast corner of Reinhard and Parsons. There was a mural there previously, and I understand that the sketches for it, or maybe the early renderings for that, were in the Smith Tandy hands and have been shared back out. I mean, that building had to be repainted and there was masonry failure, that was a code violation that had to be resolved. That basically caused the demise of the mural that was on the building. So it's my understanding that that is happening. Yeah.
We're talking about the Walt Neal mural.
Yeah.
Yes. That's actually going to be a really nice project that we do this summer. So I'll make sure that you guys get that information as soon as it gets out because having community witness and involvement is really going to be a great part of capturing that story when we get that mural up.
Yeah, then I had heard that Marion Village Civic was actually funding a mural somewhere within Marion Village as well. I don't know how far along that's gotten.
Again, if you do hear about these projects, because I know that it is a thing and they're popping up everywhere, let them know that we can be a resource. Again, our goal is to create a roster of artists, especially mural professional artists who are looking for opportunities, because I know as an artist that's kind of been the hardest challenge over the years, is getting businesses to offer their wall space or getting organizations to be willing to create art. So we have the connection to the artists. If ever you all have a grassroots project that you might want us to be a connector on, we would love to connect a lot of those dots so that projects like this can just pop up all around the city. Because I do think that art makes our community a better place. So
Yeah, and I think it's the same muralist that did the rear of the Hey Hey, which is at southeast corner of Brock and Whittier, and then also the south side of the drive-through on Parsons in Southern Orchards. So I agree, right? We're starting to see a lot more engagement, and I don't know about the rest of you, but it brings me a lot of joy to hear about all of these efforts that are happening, because sometimes we get bogged down in the negative, sides of things, right? And so, this is positive and will bring, creative efforts and beautification and just joy all around. So anyway, it's doing my, my soul good. Anyone else, before we switch topics again to talk more about like spaces and sharing spaces, anyone else that's on the phone that's interested in raising some questions, ideas, thoughts, any other projects that they're aware of that they want to, contribute?
again, don't hesitate to reach out to info@allpeople.org, because after this conversation, you may think of something cool. And if you do, just shoot us an email, because we're here to support, especially our Southside project. So please let us know how we can help.
Sounds good. When the Crest and Alchemy first opened, there was a bike and arts festival for a couple years. And that, kind of stopped happening. But, I think events is another area that we need to think about. So that's one of our projects for this year for PAMA. One is around infrastructure and again, the lighting, the litter, I mean, the usual suspects, but, beautification, which is this topic. But then the second part is around events. And so y'all participated in the chocolate hop that Ganther's Place sponsored. The Avenue for All event is targeted for June 11th. It's another, maybe we could get some artists to display, in some of the businesses, other businesses on the Avenue during that event. Then we've got thinking about maybe an event around the back to school, the Bulldog Bash in the August timeframe. And then the something around the holidays is what we've been talking about, trying to, engage very, very thoughtfully and specifically at a few events that we can kind of bring the community together. And I know it has been a while, but South High School Art Department used to have an open show for their artists, and we're able to come in and purchase directly from them. And I have done that, before, and they're very talented also. So that's, the back to school thing, with their art department might be something to think about. So I just wanted to make you aware of that. So, that's some very specific timeframes that we can have dialogue. If you have a gallery show, or you have a workshop on that day, or you have the ability to have additional art, during some of those events, that might be another area that we could work together.
Miss Kathy, something I foresee in the future one day, not anything soon, but we have enough businesses down Parsons and opportunities where if we were to ever allow allow an opportunity, we could put artists in each of those businesses and do our very own like gallery hop, you know, or something like that. Another thing I thought about while you were talking is you said that during the holidays you guys are thinking of events. Felicity puts together about 3 different holiday themed workshops for the community around that time. And so, you know, Felicity, I want to speak for you. I don't think we have necessarily solidified the details for this year. So maybe there's an opportunity for us to partner and come together for those three workshops, because we have already the funding to at least get the workshop completed, but maybe having you all come in and having it adds another component to it and could also help with our participation and getting the information out and things like that, partnering on those things. And then oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say in JPS, we do have a what we call creative space, meeting space. So I think it would be a good opportunity to talk about, when you say gallery hop, even an art show of sorts there where we could set something up. Would love to partner with you and do that.
That's fantastic. I actually walked past your space and saw that is a really nice space you have in the front part. And I admire spaces that have really figured out how to do business and still have art. That's awesome.
Yeah. Hopefully, once we can get this code thing settled down, we can host a PAMA meeting and all that. But I think it would definitely be a good place to have an art show or two, or try to get something set up on a regular, some type of rotation, feature different artists in the area or in the city, some things like that. But definitely reach out to me, and I know we'll be open to it.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I was going to say, just add to that, I wrote down those dates, that June 11th and the August timeframe, and then the holidays. But I definitely would love to just keep us in that conversation, because we could totally put an event on our schedule and open up All People Arts to whatever is happening. So just keep that conversation going, and we can totally plan something.
I was going to say, if ever you guys reach out, if you and Shelbi want to stop in, sit down and talk about it, put together a tentative game plan, and meet with Alfonzari, the owners, and we just make it happen.
Cool.
It's definitely a good thing. It's a very good thing to see positive influences in Parsons, in the area, get merchants involved in those types of things. So I know we'll support that.
Absolutely.
I want to credit Stephen for my evolution of my thinking also. So we've had some conversations on these topics, and the continued dialogue amongst the different businesses is really helpful for me. Carla, did you have another point to make? So your hand go up and back down.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I apologize.
I did one other thing that made me think is dance. Obviously Inspiration to Movement is a close neighbor to JPS Print physically. And they are hosting a children's oriented dance program on March 11th, I believe it is. It's a Hansel. And so tickets are available. They have 3, I think, events scheduled out already through the course of this year. And so Rachel Maynard and her team, it's a different expression of art through movement, through dance. But we're also grateful to them for their participation on the Avenue. Of course, they also teach, both dance and exercise type classes. So
can you give the name again?
Yeah, what was the name of that?
Inspiration to Movement.
Okay, cool.
And Rachel is the dreamer. I follow their Facebook page, and so their events are accessible on the Facebook page. If the way you interest yourself on them, right, and then it reminds you that they're coming, and and that it's an opportunity to participate. And they have other shows and other events. Type of art.
If you don't mind, when you talk to something like that, you could connect us, the arts, especially, for example, right now we have dance in our free dance passes from Flavor Flow at All People Arts. Flavor Flow also works with young kids, and they always are available to our gallery openings. So when we do a gallery opening, they like to come and dance and be present and bring, they bring the neighborhood with them. So I think if this Inspiration to Movement, which I've never heard of them before, and I feel terrible about it, if you can connect these dots, let them know that, their flyers, their things in All People Art, it could be in All People Arts, and it's a resource to them as well. I would love to connect, and just because performing arts sometimes in a visual arts gallery space gets lost in the narrative, and so we want to do whatever we can to make sure that we're supporting, especially those organizations on the South Side that are focused on the youth and dance. So thanks Miss Kathy, if you could just let her know.
All right, well, this has been a great conversation so far. Let's just shift briefly to expanding your workshops into other spaces. We talked about the fort, we've talked about JPS print, and we've talked Sarah's idea around Parsons Place. And obviously we've had dialogue in the past around the fruit park itself, which my husband actually just left, right? He's kind of our fruit park maintainer. We're under contract for the fruit park for 2 more years, but we are looking to invest additionally in some of the infrastructure, like the pathways and the entranceways and so on. We've talked previously about like putting an art cube, on that property. And so we are going to open the dialogue with the city to try to get that, it was originally a 5-year contract, and we're almost into the 4th year on it. And if we're going to make additional investments in the infrastructure, we're hoping to extend that contract, right? So that we know that any investments we make now, which include, by the way, rebuilding the picnic tables, which, are suffering, and again, the entranceways, the pathways, obviously maintaining the fruit trees and the grapes, vines and so on, which are passive enjoyment activities at the park, fruit park. So, we continue to, kind of look for ways as we invest. We ask the city to extend the time period, to have a full 5-year runway. If you have other thoughts about that. And then I do want to also mention our monument, which you're probably aware of, was installed finally. It sits at the corner of South Lane and Parsons. And we have work to be done there around a landscaping plan, and again, a passive enjoyment space, and some other ideas on that topic. But let's shift to the fruit park maybe, and other ideas about, things that we could do there.
Well, I think you mentioned a couple, just to reiterate, that's we've talked about the bringing in the Walt Neal mural, the cubes, and maybe doing some live painting with artists, or just bringing in finished panels and setting up. Other things that we've talked about were potentially bringing artists in and doing some sort of gardening art workshop. I know we've made I believe we made like little watering like tools, and we've been talking about potentially doing something along the lines of the show Pots and Prints, and kind of bringing in some sort of like ceramic gardening workshop with that. So anything that you think that our calendar right now isn't completely solidified. So if, like Shelbi mentioned, if there are artists who are interested in engaging with the garden, or like the park, and wanting to put something on for the community, we can easily be a resource for them to get set up, help them figure out supplies, get an audience. So we're kind of here to listen to what maybe what you guys are interested in doing, and figure out how we can maybe piggyback off of that and help you guys out. I don't know if Shelbi if you had any additional ideas for that, but we were kind of just here to figure out continue to figure out what our role can be with the fruit park.
Yeah, I agree. Of course, Miss Shelly Passo has told me to stick with this conversation because we all see the potential of what it could look like if we did some things over there and just, brought more attention to the park through the things that we do. So again, we're here to meet you in the middle on what you're most comfortable with. Because we could start doing workshops. We have our In the Arts workshops happen in the spring. We could start doing workshops out as soon as this spring in the fruit park.
Mm-hmm.
And the city was open to that. I mean, I know that many community gardens don't feel quite, as much concern about what their city contract says. But since we plan to open the conversation with them anyway, just changing the language about the use is something that we do want to do. I don't know that it has to hold us up, from scheduling something in the near term. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And I think starting, something, semi frequently, but not like, every day, right? I mean, we want both the passive use for the park and also, some more active programming to draw people in and, visually kind of stimulate people's interest in the fruit parks. So, but yeah, we can definitely start talking about the cube as early as whenever you're ready. Mike hasn't given me any dates, but I do think that they plan to have some dates. There's been desire for when the master gardeners are there to invite the community to hear about fruit trees and grapes. They did actually prune the grapes last weekend, but it wasn't a great day. And they treat it as a training class for the master gardeners. So Mike said there were like 22 people, I think. And they have a very large number of people in the Franklin County Master Gardener program right now. Normally it's somewhere in the 10 to 12 range per class, and this is more like 30. And so, there was a training, how to prune grapes that they did for their own master gardeners, but we'd also like to, invite the master gardeners to engage with the community around, what they're doing and how they do it, and kind of encourage the gardening, angle piece of it. So we'll try to figure out, maybe we could tie those together a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
We would love to put the word out about that stuff too. Like, just even if you need share, we could be a partner or some way we can help with those kinds of things. We're definitely into that. Also, I wanted to say, we're not in our space every day. We would never use your space every day because we're a body of volunteers. And just like, so we would like do the same thing, know a specific date in which the workshop would fall, and you would know ahead of time that that's when we would use it, and it'd probably be once a month, Yeah,
that sounds perfect. So yeah, we'll continue that conversation. So does anyone else have thoughts? I know Donna's not on. She's president of the Holsack Neighborhood Civic. Noah Mabry with the Foreground Studio has been helping us with the actual landscaping, plan and some of the efforts that we want to take on that plan. One of the items that we're planning, so we are having the planters that were on the avenue that are in the fruit park repainted by the original Heart of Ohio toll painters. We had talked about other options for that, but we did go ahead and contract with the Heart of Ohio toll painters that originally painted the planters to repaint them. And the idea is that when they come back, they're going to be placed in more in line with the paths through the fruit park, so that they're more visible, because currently they're kind of grouped 4 or 5, in 4 or 5 different places. And they do have a story to tell as well, right? So, in fact, when they repainted, there's one of an Air Force military person called Tibbetts, and she repainted it with him, found a picture of him in uniform, because the picture that was on the planter had him in a civilian clothes. So she, took a little bit of liberty to, to repaint it in a little more accurate, I guess, presentation of him as an individual. So there are, individuals, there's businesses, there's the South Side, settlement house, and, variety of stories, that are told on those planters. So as there are 22 and 4 have come back repainted, and the others are either with the artist or going to the artist very soon. So those should all be back in the spring and ready to, kind of rejoin together to kind of keep that storytelling going. So,
Kathy, did you know that Tibbetts himself was an artist?
I did not.
Yeah, a friend of mine lived next door to him, when he was an older man, and said he used to paint as therapy of sorts. And he painted really disturbing and haunting scenes, and he would just throw them away after he painted them. And so there always art out in the trash cans for the refuse workers to take away, and that my friend and his other neighborhood kids would look at them, and they were kind of, I think Colonel Tibbetts made him a little nervous.
Yeah. Well, artist therapy is certainly a thing, right? And certainly a lot of
for those of
people need.
Those of you who don't know, Tibbetts was the captain of the Enola Gang, which dropped the bomb on Hiroshima. So I think that'll leave a mark on your site.
Yes, thank you, Brian, for sharing that. I don't even have the level of background that I should have as well. And, we've talked about some, like a brochure around the fruit park itself. And I think one also around the historic planters that are left, in that space, would also be a nice thing to have, and something that we could kind of share also through the All People's Arts, people that come into your space, right, could consume that. So we need to kind of come back to that and work on that again. Maybe I can find a creative writer in the neighborhood that wants to kind of finish the work that we started, that Shelly started on that topic. So, well, this has been really a great conversation. I personally have learned a lot, and I think that it's a really good topic that was suggested last month for us to communicate around. Are there other thoughts, other comments before we close up?
I will say that having this kind of conversation quarterly could be really helpful to just the South Side, and us all being on the same page too. So I really think this conversation was great too, and I'd love to see us maybe do it every once in a while, just check in and see how we can continue to connect the art, as and to use us. We want to be a resource, and so we appreciate you inviting us to this conversation, and would love to do it again. So
Okay.
Yeah, and I was going to
Also,
say.
go ahead, Stephen.
No, I was just going to say, even though we do our monthly, she's talking about quarterly, let's don't, as groups and organizations, let's don't pass up opportunities to have little satellite meetings as well. Because the more we collaborate, the more we can get accomplished. Because even if we have little small group meetings, we can collaborate and then bring it to the collective and work on things.
Yeah, and I was thinking the same with the neighborhood groups, making sure that the different civic associations on the South Side get this information that we had today, because they often have their own stakeholders and their own knowledge of the artists in their communities, that they can connect as well. So So I think that will be really helpful, because I think there is a lot of creativity on the south side that needs to be connected and engaged. So I appreciate all of you. We are, let's see, March. In April, we are not going to do a stakeholders meeting. We are going to do a meet and greet or a networking event. It will be will be the Tuesday evening of the first Tuesday in April, at 5 o'clock at Doghouse Pizza, which is on Lockbourne Road, just north, well, it's on the west side of Lockbourne. That one of our trustees, Brian Daniel, it's his business. So for anyone that's willing and able to come to us, we will be getting together for that conversation. And then April, May, and May we'll come back for a stakeholders, a call at 9 a.m. On that first Wednesday. So,
Can I ask you a question, Ms. Kathy?
sure.
Are you all, is PAMA, is that your artwork installation that just went up on the corner of Parsons and Livingston?
Yes, we had a Southside monument prior on the southeast corner of Parsons back in the day, and then when that property was developed, it's been a work in progress for years to get a new Southside monument, and so that was installed in late January, I think, and we will continue to develop, the landscaping, and we'll have a dedication event for that too. So.
Okay, yeah, keep me posted. I saw that, and I'm on the neighborhood design center board, and they were so excited to get that done, and I was like, that's PAMA, isn't it?
Yes, neighborhood design center drove most of the effort, and Nationwide Children's, of course, provided much of the funding, as well as some of the Columbus Foundation groups. So we're grateful for that too.
When you do the dedication, let us know. We'd love to help. We'll put the word out, and that's a big deal. So
yeah, and Aaron isn't on anymore, but he wasn't in favor of the yellow, but we wanted something that was compatible both with the greenery and the brick building, that it's kind of next to, and that was really draw your attention. So I like it.
Yeah, me too. I like yellow. We like yellow at All People Arts. That's great. Well, thank you.
All right. Well, thanks again, everyone. We'll get this posted and shared out, and then we'll continue this conversation amongst either smaller groups or larger groups. So thanks, everyone, for attending.
Thank you.
Bye.